Hi, and thank you for tuning in to Dani Changg. So today we have some males and some females, and we're going to be discussing finances in 2020. And should things be a 50-50 split? Yes, no, we're going to, debate all of those types of items. All right, but before we get started, I'm just going to give the guests a chance to introduce themselves.
I'm Justin, 37 years old, and I'm a police officer.
Hi guys, I'm Freda, I'm 31, and I'm the owner of a talent management agency and marketing agency.
My name is Easton, 40 years old. I do work insurance, and I'm a bouncer part-time.
Awesome, thank you so much, guys. All right, so the first question is, should finances be split down the middle?
Absolutely not. Let me tell you why. All right, Dani?
Okay.
I had to do it because for the effect, right? It works, right?
Dramatic.
I'm going to say no. I think it depends on who's making the most money, whether it's the male or the female. It's not 50-50 because, again, it's a partnership. So let's say I'm living by myself and I'm now bringing my wife or a female into the relationship.
Yeah.
She's going to be living with me.
Yeah.
Her coming into my home or me going into her home, if I'm bringing a certain amount of money and I wasn't paying that before, it's helping her and it's also going to help me in the long end, and it's going to further the relationship as far as I'm concerned. You're making, say, I don't know, 100,000 and I'm making 50,000. We're gonna have to.
At the end of the day, after they split all their expenses, they both need to be able to live. Like, they can't be begging bread after they, pay for those things,
No,
right?
it's not fair.
I personally always say if you're in a relationship and one person is benefiting more than the other, that's not a relationship, that's a sponsorship.
That is true, that's good.
So,
I like that.
yeah. Male or female, that's a sponsorship. I shouldn't be coming into a relationship losing more than when I was by myself. Technically, we both should be saving, because now if I'm putting it in, you're putting it in, then I should be saving some of the money that I would be spending normally on myself.
Exactly.
So I would have to mirror a lot of what Justin's saying, mainly from a perspective of recognizing where your finances are and where their finances are. You should be able to give enough of your income that it keeps you, like you said, Dani, like you comfortable and your other partner comfortable. You build together, and then do not forget to build for yourself as well. Not to say that you're looking at leaving the relationship, but you should still make sure that you are comfortable, because sometimes you don't know what the other person's doing. So you might actually need that buffer to secure both of you guys if something happens. But yeah, I believe in no sponsorships. So we both should be able to contribute equally based on what you're making.
I'm gonna agree with both these guys here.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're paying 50-50, you might as well just live by your own, because you're still paying the same amount that you paid before you moved into with your significant other, right? Also depends on your pay, because if I'm making 100,000, she's making 50,000, you're still paying 50K. You're still paying what you're paying before, right? It makes no sense.
Exactly.
It should, I don't want to say even out, but between the pay, it's kind of like 50-50, but it's not. You're still paying what you can.
50-50 based on what you're making. Yeah. I feel like now there's also a thing though where, I'm gonna be real, I think some guys, right, are expecting a 50-50 split with like a lot of things. Like, we go out for dinner, like they want to do like Dutch. They want like one time they pay, one time you pay. What do you guys feel about like even
It
that
sounds like you have a problem
aspect
with that, though. It sounds like you have a problem with that, right?
A little bit.
Okay.
I'm actually not gonna side with her. So
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know what? And I would love to hear that, because I think, I'm going to be real. At the time when a guy's courting me, I think that, not to say I'm never going to pay. No, I'm not a selfish person. I'm a person who, if I see something you need, I'm going to go and get that for you and things like that. But I don't think it should be like, oh, you paid last time for the movie, so next time you're looking at me. No, I think you should be taking the lead, and you should be taking me out. You're trying to court me. I think you should be taking me out. But, for those who know him, you can ask my boyfriend. I get him stuff he needs, but I just think that you should take the lead in that regard, in my opinion.
So now let's flip that. So what if you're the one that's interested? Because I've actually believed that whoever asks to take that person out should essentially pay for wanting to take that person out their house. So I've actually paid for the guys that I've taken out because I've been interested to take them out of their house and out of their space. I can't expect a man to take care of my interests for them.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of women sometimes don't look at that perspective, that yes, you want to be courted and you want to be chased, but now we're also in an era where a lot of women are also chasing. So then if you are going to choose to take that lead, you can't say, I'm going to lead you, but then in the same time, I need you to pay. You know what I mean? So I feel like sometimes you also have to look at it in perspective of who's initiating this.
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do
Yes,
that. Because that's
for
the
the
way
women?
that I'll be
But
honest.
what-
I wouldn't ask a guy, I wouldn't be like, oh, like, let's go on a date. Because I'm just old school in that way. I would want the guy to ask me. That's just my preference.
I believe, so I personally believe that men should lead in that regard. Like for myself, I'm very independent. I'm somebody who like is a free thinker. I don't necessarily need to be led. I happen to be like a leader in so many different roles that I play. So when I get in relationships with, shocks a lot of men, I'm actually very submissive. As in, like, what I'm saying is, a lot of men think that because I'm a quote-unquote boss in my day-to-day life, that I'm boss-y in relationships. I'm actually the exact opposite. Because I have to make all the decisions for my business, because I have to make a lot of decisions for my family, because I'm usually the leader amongst a lot of my friends, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I get in a relationship, I'm tired. I don't care where we're going to dinner, you choose. I don't care where we're going to vacation, you choose. I don't care. And for me to be like, I'm a believer, so biblically, that's not even my role. So I will gladly give it to a man.
Yeah.
By all means, sir, take the reins. I'm tired. Take it. But I just think in the sense where when it comes to courting, although I would love that, trust me, I think in a perfect world, most women would love to be courted, but we're also in an age right now where a lot of women are a lot more empowered. Some men are also really shy, or they're like intimidated or timid. So sometimes it is the woman that has to grab you and say, hey, I see you staring at me for 5 minutes from across the room. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? So in situations like that, you kind of have to look at it from both sides of the fence. But I would never expect a guy to always be the one to take care of everything, if for a short, even for a period of time, because then again, to me, that becomes sponsorship.
Yeah.
Because then every time we go out, if he's always spending, then he's never saving anything.
For sure.
Where
for sure.
you are always
And
saving.
I agree with you in that aspect. That's why I always make sure that even though, for instance, maybe even when we go out to eat or we go to movies, he might be paying, but then I'll see a pants like that, like he would like.
Yeah.
I'll get those
Little
pants.
gifts.
I'll see like Wes's comedy show, and I'll get tickets for both of us. You know what I mean? So I also think in various ways it still ends up being
Fair
you
enough.
know what I mean?
So you're more of like the little gifts in between, the little surprises in between, to kind of make up for all of the great things that he's doing for you.
Exactly.
Fair.
Exactly. Now, on your point in regards to, okay, well, if I see a guy looking at me, I'm going to approach and I'm going to ask. Now, if it was me, let's say you asked me, I say yes. For me, I'm going to take the responsibility of assuming that I'm paying for the date. That's just how I was. If I accept it. Because I'm thinking, okay, well, that's what is expected. I'm a man. And as a Christian, a man is supposed to be the one to lead.
Yep.
And if I'm not showing you that I'm willing to fork out, say, $40 for your meal, because that's all I'm willing to spend for, I just got getting to know you. I'm not spending $60.
You know, I like the budget.
Right? I'm gonna.
So you're going to the cake?
No.
First date, what about
You gotta earn the cake first.
Yeah.
If the conversation's not good, you're not getting the cheesy bread. You're just gonna get that normal bread that comes with it. Yeah, the cake's expensive. That's $120. No, that's $60 a plate. But I digress. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't. It's a bonus if a female does say, yeah, you know what? Don't worry, I got this. Or even make
sexy sometimes.
When a female approaches you and then pays for your food too, jeez, it's amazing. It feels great. But I'm still gonna.
You'd be so.
It's
This is what
very.
I'm especially for black men. So sorry to cut you off.
No, it's all good.
Black men, I find that their biggest thing that they complain about with black women is that we don't regularly show our affection and show our appreciation for them. So the littlest things like, thank you, babe, for doing that. Thank you for grabbing that for me. And oh my God, you've been so great this month, just like dealing with all of my nagging, all of the. We don't do that. And then we just assume that, they know I love them because I'm here.
What I hated was being used, because
That's what I was about to say.
I hate that because I've been in that situation.
And I'm sure
before.
guys have been in that experiences, and I think even women have.
Oh yeah, I could
Guys
see
more
that.
though.
I can see.
Guys more though.
No, but girls will get used for something
Girls
else.
can be used for
Guys
their
will
body.
be used.
Yes, exactly. Girls will be used for their body.
Yes,
Yeah.
Fair.
and that is true.
My thing is, like, with dates, I have no problems paying. But if you reach out for the bill, then I know what? You're actually here for me. Like, it's not like I'm filling my belly.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you fed me good. All right, no. Like, you're making that effort, so know that you're here for me, not just to fill your stomach, right? Like she said, it shows appreciation. It shows that you're actually interested.
Oh yeah, well definitely. I'll do the reach, but don't touch me.
No, but that reason is important though. Even the effort is important. You know, take out that long water years that you guys carry, and just to reach. And I'm like, no, I got this. That was cute. That was good. I like what you're doing. You might get a second date. So that's where I was. And
I've been out with a girl where we went out, we did a couple things, and she's like, no, I got the dinner. I'm like, no, I got the dinner. I was like, oh.
you gotta hold the chest. You gotta just hold the
I'm
chest.
telling you, it's sexy, man.
Yeah.
It's sexy. Sometimes you gotta do
It's
that.
And a lot of girls that I've gone out with, not to say that they're gold diggers, they don't do that, right? And I'm just like, so I'm sitting there like, once again, are you here? Is there an ulterior motive? Are you here for me, or are you here just kind of waste time? Or
But then the thing is, don't you think we're kind of being like, I don't know, don't you think sometimes people are getting to a point where they're becoming paranoid? Even if, right, that is their motive, you don't think you're gonna figure that out sooner than later? Like, you're gonna,
do you
like,
think that?
Yes and no.
well, if you're blinded by the beauty, then that's your own stupidness. But like,
You have to take personal accountability.
you have to take some personal accountability if you're constantly getting in that kind of situation, right? Because I think you can kind of tell when someone's there for you.
Yeah.
But you hear like how a lot of women talk where they say, yo, I'm here just for the food. Like, when you hear, like, I have a lot of female friends, so when you hear them talk, you're like, and then you reflect on the last one. So that's why she didn't call me last time, because it's this, right? So when you hear it a lot, then you're kind of like, what are you really here for? Right?
So what about the people that say, I'm only taking you out because I want to sleep with you after?
Exactly.
It's the same thing, but it's the same thing. But
Same
when you
thing.
keep hearing it, you start questioning yourself, right? Like, are you here, if it's a girl, you trying to get some ass, or you want to get to know me?
But then the thing is, I think with both of those, in both those situations, you'll figure it out sooner than later. Either you'll, if you're a girl, you'll either give him the ass and he'll dip, or you won't and he'll stay, and then you'll realize that, oh, okay, he actually is here for me. Or with a girl, you know, if she's only willing to hang out with you if you're taking her to some expensive restaurant, then you're gonna realize the play after a while. It's just, are you gonna choose to see it or not?
Well, you realize it after a while that you're looking at your wallet like, damn, I should have seen this sooner.
I've been there before personally, so and it's very, very frustrating. Very frustrating.
You guys are hurted.
You don't understand, man. You guys can be heartless sometimes.
First of all, we've only become savages because we are sick and tired of the manipulation and the careless acts of men after one girl breaks their heart.
First of all, listen.
They get everybody else up.
No. That's not what this is not what this is about.
That is exactly what it's about.
No.
They get hurt once. Girls will get their heart broken 17 times and still love a man. A man will get his heart broken once and bitches ain't shit. No girls get my heart again. Every bitch gets slept with. Like, once, and it happened in 7th grade. And it's like
In 7th grade, we still have hearts though.
You know,
right?
we go through it 6 times and we'll still find a way to love you guys.
I get it.
You go through it once.
I get
And
it.
every girl suffers for the next 10 years until you grow out of it.
Yep.
I want
Oh, girl, preach,
Okay.
preach.
Whatever. No, but you had some good points, man. You were saying.
no, like, I feel like with some guys, like, when they're ready to commit or settle down, they do, and then it's like kind of like letting down your guard, and then you get hurt. They're like, oh, I'm not doing this again. Like, it's gonna take a while for me to do that again, right?
Yeah.
They're just soft.
Yeah, you know what?
Guys are like
Guys say that
marshmallows.
women are emotional, but men are more emotional than women, hands
Guys
down.
are.
Once they get their heart in it, like once they actually have someone that they care about, and something goes wrong there, they are more hurt because they're not used to it too, probably.
You guys are emotional. I need you guys for your entire male species to admit it. You guys are emotional.
Not as emotional as you guys.
No.
What?
The cameraman's also a male, just to let you know, and he's saying no.
Because
So
you guys are
obviously-
all liars.
We're not.
No.
There it is, and you're getting emotional right now.
Wow.
When we get emotional, we don't become detectives. and stuff like that. You guys will become fraud detectives.
You can.
I don't think so. Not as much as y'all. Okay, y'all will go through phones.
Can't blame us because we're smart.
You guys just lie about unnecessary things.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm okay. That is true.
But
I like
sometimes you have to though. Like,
why do you
Because
never
you have to cover up the other lie that you made.
No, not even that.
Oh,
It's just-
because that's better.
no. Sometimes you have to lie to avoid the bigger mess that it may become. Like,
That's
Okay.
always
No,
saying that.
that's
But you know what though?
It's true,
But you know what though? But then she finds out that lie, you have an even bigger problem. You
it'll
have
be a bigger problem regardless. So if
No.
I lie a little bit, it's to save me from that moment of time.
No, but the
So
thing
I
about
No,
but the thing about
but
that
it's an
lie
assumption.
is you need to make
It's
sure
not-
you cover that lie with another lie.
And
you
you
need to
guys-
put a
it's an
reminder in your
assumption.
phone.
and you guys won't remember.
Where did you go?
You
Hold on.
guys will be sloppy.
Exactly.
Which is why we investigate, because y'all are
They
sloppy
investigators.
liars.
Sloppy.
Instagram,
No,
Facebook, you can't do anything these
Okay, I
days.
don't
All
do that
right.
because I think that's a lot of
So
energy.
speaking of all that, so for free, a question for like I guess you and I, right? So would you be okay with a man that expects you to pay 50-50 of everything? Would you be okay with that scenario?
The only reason why I would be okay with that scenario is because if I know that I have the means to do it, then I have no problem with doing that. Only because I personally don't believe in gender roles. You can't tell me that we're both working 40 hours a week. We're both breadwinners. So as being both breadwinners, one can't benefit more or less from doing the same thing. That's the only reason why I would be okay with paying 50-50, because just like how my
Even in the
husband's not sitting at home.
courting dating stage, you're cool with that?
Even in the courting dating stage, like I'm okay with it. I feel like in the very, very beginning, sure, I'm definitely gonna let a man do his thing to show his interest for me. And
Okay,
if
well
I'm
then
gonna-
you're not okay with it.
So
Because-
from you're talking about it from like the 100% beginning,
I'm talking
first
from
time
the
we meet.
beginning, because some men are just like, yeah, they want the 50-50 thing. So would you be okay with a guy who's saying, yeah, we do things 50-50?
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with that. Because outside of those reasons, what are the other reasons why I'm with this person? Like outside of that, if the other reasons why I'm with this person outweigh the financial, then I'm not looking at the financial, because that's really just another like hurdle or another step to this, right? And I think a lot of women get really hung up on that. But if you have the means to cover it and you were doing it already, it shouldn't just stop because the partner is there. You're doing it to take care of yourself anyway, right? And 50-50 still means I'm not spending 100%. So either way I look at
So
it,
either way, you're still benefiting.
I'm still
right?
benefiting, and I now have this person to share that
Sure,
that situation with.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
Okay, I got a question.
Sure.
Are you attracted to alphas, or are you attracted to guys that are like, I guess, not alpha males?
I'm attracted to alpha.
You want an
already
alpha
know
male?
this.
Okay, cool.
I already know this.
Would you rather an alpha male, or would you rather a guy that you could split stuff with? Huh?
Can you be both?
Okay.
Basically,
But she's talking about from the get-go. She's talking about from the first date. From the first date, you're trying to map out, okay, am I going to be wasting my time with this guy? Or is this guy something I can build something with? That first impression is huge. Because during your first date, you always have on that mask, right?
Yep.
Or with me, I'm trying to always take down that mask. And I'm sure it's the same with you.
Yeah.
Now, them paying or you reaching for your wallet and them saying, no, I got this. This is me. You sure? Yes. This is okay. Yeah. That's what you're gonna do. That's what you would rather, because it's gonna show you that, okay, well, this guy is serious.
he's willing to invest in me.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
So that 50-50 thing from the jump, whether you're asking the guy out on a date or if he's asking you on a date, I don't think it's right, and I think it's a red flag.
I think so
Right?
too.
If you say, yo, so we're gonna go Dutch on this, no, you don't. I'll go Dutch on it, but we're not doing this again. That you should cut it off from there,
Yep.
right? Cut it off from there. Don't sell it. Okay. I don't
Okay.
think you should
Fair. I understand that argument, and I think the only reason why that's never been such a huge factor for me is because being somebody who has been able to always kind of like take care of herself in just my upbringing or like my work life or things like that.
Right.
The things that fulfill me isn't monetary or isn't financial. That's not what's gonna let me know if you're a good man. That's not it. I'm somebody who actually is really big on emotions. Just because of the fact that I've spent so much of my life building up myself, I'm not looking for somebody to take care of me. And that's just me. So if I could have somebody that isn't necessarily going to like make it rain on me all the time, but you're there to emotionally like listen to me, but you're there to provide other things like emotionally, like spiritually, and just even like mentally important to me that way. I still see as much value in that in a person than the whole idea of you paying for my bills or taking me out or anything like that. Like I've never equated that as much to being somebody who is interested or somebody who's more or less valuable to me. I think that's the only reason why I think like that, and that's a lot of my like independent side coming through.
That's what
which could also be an issue for some people, but then I just kind of look at men a little bit past that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of us, we get so independent that we almost like are not even allowing the guys to take care of us. Because you know what, people will do what you allow. In the sense that like a lot of guys, with one girl you might see that they did 50-50 with, and with another girl, they might be really taking more of that, you know, alpha male
expectations.
Because that woman, her expectation is different, right? So my thing is just like we have to be careful about the expectations that we are showing that we're gonna accept and allow, because it sets the stage for everything else later on as well. Obviously, when you're in a marriage, you guys are both working. Like, you know, unless he's, you know, a millionaire or making it rain ballin', right? He's not gonna be able to pay for everything. You guys are gonna have to put together and make your household run. But then, do you want it to really start off that, oh, it has to be 50-50? I think that's a huge red flag. I would be turned the other way. I'd be gone. My opinion.
And and I think the 50-50 thing is wrong, especially if I'm making more money than my wife, or my wife is making more money than me. If you're gonna be in a relationship, you should be able to build together. That's my thing, right?
Yeah.
And whether that's in real estate or a business or contributing to a business like you already have, I think that partner needs to also think about the future, right?
Yeah.
So to say we should just split it, I don't.
But even in the beginning, we talked about when we're splitting it, you're splitting it based on your income and your means.
That would be good. But I'm saying 50-50. If I'm paying, I don't know, $1,000 on rent or on mortgage, you're paying $500 and I'm paying $500. But I'm still.
It would still have to be based on what you can actually, like what you work with, what you can contribute. Because if I'm not making that same amount, then again, now I'm sponsoring you.
That's not what you want.
No,
is what I'm saying.
No.
So what you want is a guy that's going to contribute, right? So that man should be paying for your first date. Is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Easton, how do you feel about this?
You know what? Yes.
I know for sure if I'm taking somebody out first date, second date, third date, I'm paying. That's my expectation. If you wanna, you know, throw in your credit card and pay, I'm gonna ask you twice.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you
2 times.
Yeah. You positive? Go.
Yep.
If I have a friend who's married with his wife. He pays the mortgage and he pays the car note. She'll pay like the hydro bill. Even though they're splitting the bills 50-50, it's not really 50-50. Like he may have, because he makes more, he's paying more of the higher things, but she's contributing a little something.
Yes.
Now, if I'm with somebody and you're paying a little something, but you're spending like there,
Yeah.
then we're gonna talk about what you can afford and what you can't afford.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
What we can.
yeah. Well, that too. But, but like, it's kind of like a 50-50, but it's not a 50-50. Like, we're splitting the bills, but I'll probably pay more of like, if I'm paying the mortgage, you pay the electricity bill. If I'm paying depending on how much your insurance is, if I'm paying for the car, pay for the insurance or pay your part of the insurance. That's how I look at it.
Is that going to be the same if she's making more than you?
Yes.
Oh.
Because
and you know what? Some guys are like that. Some guys say they want to take on that role as like the alpha in the sense that they want to pay for the mortgage. I know a guy where his wife makes really good money, but he insists on paying the mortgage. I guess that's just something maybe he grew up with. I think that's something his father did. It's just the way that he views it. You know, I'm not saying that necessarily that's right or wrong. I'm just showing different like angles, because in the same breath I also have friends who with the man's salary, they pay all the bills, and then her salary, as you said, goes to their like savings, their investments, their property, things like that.
Yeah. I've heard that.
So my next question for you guys is, once you're in a long-term live-in relationship or marriage, right? Do you think that having one joint account or separate accounts is best?
Well, I think my ideal situation would be to have one or two joint bank accounts. Like I would actually even split those, one for savings, so we know that the money that's here is only for things that we're trying to do, and then one for bills, so we can actually track all the bill payments and all of that. And then I actually think each individual partner should have their own separate accounts outside of their partners, and not because this is a trust situation. This has nothing to do with you hiding assets or hiding funds from your partner. I actually think it's a cushion fund. And what I mean by a cushion fund is, let me give you guys a hypothetical that is actually real. So I actually know a story
that is actually real.
I actually know a couple that were married for, I'm gonna say probably maybe 15 years. They had 3 kids together. The husband was a lawyer, made great money for years. Wife was a stay-at-home mom, taking care of their 3 kids. And the dynamics of their relationship worked for them. The husband didn't complain about what he had to do. The wife was good about what she had to do. So the husband lost his job. Now, for a relationship that seemed like it was built on a lot of communication and everything was all a bed of roses, this man did not feel the need to tell his wife that he lost his job. So for the first like month and a half or so, he would actually wake up in the morning, suit up, and leave the house, grab his little briefcase, and leave the house as if he's going to work. So obviously the wife was not questioning anything, but he assumed he was gonna fix this. A month turned into 2, 2 months turned into 3, 3 months turned into 4, 4 months turned into 6.
Oh gosh.
Now, I'm just gonna put a disclaimer out there that homegirl's a idiot too. Because for whatever reason, she also didn't feel the need to check the bills or just kind of be up to date on what their finances were, because that's normally what her husband's role and job was. You know, he had one job. You go to work, you pay the bills. That was his one job.
That's 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So one day, I think she gets a utility bill, and she sees that it's on its, like, I think it's 2nd or 3rd notice, to the point where they're ready to cut it off. So she sees it, and she's confused. Like, what are you talking about? Things are usually good. So she now approaches her husband to come find out that this man lost his job 6 months ago. I think it's pretty crazy to me that he let his pride come before his wife. He let his pride come before his kids. He let his pride come before everything that he's built.
Pride is a hell of a thing.
What we were saying is that we can't really fault him.
This is gonna be a tag team right now.
This can't
really fault him.
I'm getting ready.
As a man, he feels that he's supposed to provide for his family. So there was a bit of shame in there, not only pride, which is why he didn't want to come to her, even though he probably should have.
Yes.
He didn't, because of the fact that he was so hurt from losing his job, not being able to provide for his family, right? And there's that shame.
So now here's the thing that combats shame, and there's strength that a lot of men forget in asking for help. And I think a lot of men will allow themselves to fall, and a lot of men destroy themselves for that same like attitude.
Like, while you can understand why that could happen, it's not okay
At all.
So there must have been something must have happened, I feel, in that relationship for him, probably not that pride to make it stronger, right? They could have had an issue with money before, and she may have said something, or there was a fight where he's like, you know what, I can fix this. Being someone, I worked at Rogers for 11 years. 3 months after I bought my condo, I got laid off, right? And everyone looks at my resume and like, oh, you should get a job right away. 1 month turned to 2 months, 2 months turned to 3 months. I didn't get a job till 6 months after, right? And then this is me buying my first home. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? Lucky for me, I had a part-time job that kind of like helped a little bit. They could have had an argument before about money, and he's like, you know what, I don't want to go through this, I can fix this. Where we talk about lying, where you say a little lie, because hopefully you can fix it so it never comes back. But then, as you said before, you gotta keep up the lie.
Exactly.
But then that's why you shouldn't lie to begin.
You shouldn't. You might not want your wife to worry, right? Because you're like, we're men, we can fix things. That's what we think. We can always fix things, right? So what if he, for example, what if he got another job and said, oh yeah, I got laid off, but I got another job, right?
I'd still be upset that you didn't tell me about that transition. If it changes any dynamic of the house, I should still know that as your wife.
Yeah.
Well, if he's paid for everything, then he's already dealt with all that, right?
No, but like it's
No.
a partnership.
Yes.
But you know what? She made the mistake too because she needs to be aware of everything
Yeah.
that's going on.
Yeah.
And that's why in a relationship, especially in marriage, a man should not be handling everything.
Yeah.
A woman, okay, yeah, you know what? If he's bringing in the majority of the money, okay, cool. He needs to give her that money, and then she needs to go pay the bills with that money.
Yeah.
And they need to be talking back and forth in regards to things because it's a team.
Between you and your wife, who deals with finances?
I do with finances,
Okay.
but we both have input on it.
And do you guys have the accounts thing?
The accounts thing it's together now because
Now.
yeah, she kind of forced my hand, and I was trying to hold it.
What a woman.
I was trying to hold it, but she was like, "It makes more sense," and I'm like, "I know, but I want what's mine." I know a bit more about finances than my wife.
Yeah.
However, now she's learning about finances, and now we can teach our children about finances together,
Yes.
right? So we can build something.
Yeah.
Generational wealth.
Exactly. So now she is able to have her own business, Browse by Brit.
Hey.
Right? So if you want your lashes or whatever done, if I know about finances and she doesn't know as much,
Yeah.
I'm able to say, you know what, let me handle the finances and let me build you up to where you need to be,
Yeah.
so that you can then handle those finances and then we're good.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, question
it's
to
a
you.
partnership.
Do you guys still have individual accounts?
No, we don't have that.
Okay, so it's 100% joint.
It's 100%.
Nice.
And we're good because she's not the type of person that's going to go into my account and just go spend money on a Louis bag like you like, or...
I'll be honest with you, I'd rather have one account for our bills,
Yes.
one for saving, one to do a house or a vacation, and then we all have our individual accounts.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, there might be something I want to buy. I'm like, you know what? I want to buy it.
Yeah.
And there's probably stuff that she's gonna want to buy,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants to buy it, she can buy it. Because
Yeah.
even though our money is one, you
Yeah.
still earned it.
It's true.
Right? You went out, you did your 9 to 5, or your 10 to 6, or your 12 to 8. You deserve to be able to buy
24/7 if you're an
24/7.
entrepreneur.
You deserve to get things that you want. To me, as long as our bills are paid, whatever we're saving up, there's that money that's put in, it's what you want. Right? As long as it's not like some
As long as it's not something
like lavish, right?
really
Like,
irresponsible considering your financial situation.
like we'll talk about Louis purse and say, yo, I just bought a 600 Louis purse. I'd be like, excuse
Exactly.
you? 600 for what? For you to hold it what, twice and then put it back in the closet?
I feel personally
To
victimized.
make other girls
No,
jealous.
like,
Because men, we don't care what kind of bag you have. I don't understand. Anyways, that's a whole different topic.
even though you're together, you still want to kind of protect yourself at the same time, right?
I know. Isn't it sad that that's the current
let me-
state and people's mindset now?
Let me give you a situation. So when I was a personal banker, there was a couple that had a joint account. And their joint account had a court order for $12,000 for his child support payments. This is why sometimes the Freda buffer is here, because when you're a idiot and we're drowning now, my little buffer that has your name not on it,
Yeah.
that is still, I still consider is ours. If
Yeah.
it really came down to it and things went left,
Yeah.
because anything can happen.
Yeah.
My man could be picked up tomorrow on a drug bust that was his friends and I have to bail him out of jail. You know what I mean? Like, we can't take that. I'm just giving extremes, guys.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about those weird rainy
Yeah.
day situations that sometimes are out of your control.
But then the thing is, you would hope that the person you're marrying, the person you got to know, wouldn't do something that would potentially blindside you, right? Because a lot of these situations, the person that caused the financial hardship knew about these things.
So, and that's why I gave the scenario of like them being like locked up or something. Because
Yeah.
what if something like that, nobody's at fault? Then what do you do?
Oh, what do you mean nobody's at fault? Why were you hanging around people that were...
I'm just looking at it from when it's not always someone's fault.
Yeah.
And it's just life.
It's just life. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And another
because
thing on the
of- yeah.
50-50 though as well is that if you're not married and you're getting into a relationship with someone and you're moving with that person, you need to make sure you keep a dibs on what it is that you're paying. Because now the common law, so the law for no, it's not. It's 3 years now.
Oh, so they increased
They've
it.
upped it. It's
Oh,
it's
good.
3 years now.
All of this stuff makes me wish I got married at like 21 and just bought my house with that one person and just stayed with that one person,
No,
because
there's
this
a
is
lot
just too
of,
complicated. I don't like.
It is
So then
very
can we get into
complicated.
prenups then?
In terms of prenups, I think it just kind of shows. I don't know. I think it shows a lack of trust from the jump when you want to get a prenup. In my opinion, it kind of starts you with a sour taste in your mouth.
So when I was getting married, so I'm like 7 years older than my wife.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was in my career, I was in my place or whatever, and she wasn't there yet. So I was being told, yo, Justin, you gotta be careful of these females, yo, you know, they'll take you for everything. But to your point, you need to trust who you're gonna get with. That's why you don't rush into marriage. You need to make sure that your partner is literally your best friend. From not living with somebody to living with somebody, you are gonna have clashes.
Yeah. Live with me at two different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you need to know what you're getting into. And I can see why a lot of people would want to put in that prenup, right? Because divorces are not, from what I'm hearing, they're not cheap at all.
Mine was. But anyway.
This is from what I've heard. I hear the majority are not cheap.
I love that. So funny. I 100% don't believe in prenups. I would rather build you a condo down the street. If you need 3 months to go figure it out, by all means, take all the time you need to go sit in there and figure it out, and then find your butt back so we can continue this marriage. It's funny to touch on what Justin was even saying about marriage. I think the two things that people need before they get into any relationship is having a great understanding of self. So having a great understanding of who the heck you are. And then the second thing that I think a lot of people forget about is understanding your purpose, but at least have a sense of direction that you're going so that that direction doesn't shift so much while you're with your partner. You're supposed to change, but you're not supposed to become a whole different human when you're married. And when that happens, it's really hard to go back. I don't believe in prenups because I think prenups already say from the beginning that this is going to end. So when it does, this is how I'm protecting myself. You're already telling me that this is going to end. In my eyes, I'll never need a contingency plan. Therefore, I'm not even going to put that in the atmosphere. I'll build you a condo, you stay there for a month and figure out your life.
I mean, you say that, like,
Because some people need space. No, but when you're upset, we're fighting, you don't want to see me? Okay. Go live in the condo, go chill with your boys then, be back in 2 months and then figure out your life and then come
so
home.
divorce is a hall pass? Like,
Just saying, whatever it is that you need to like, you don't get a hall pass.
move in the condo, chill with your boys.
That's what it sounds like.
No, but like, you know, if you need your
I think she just means half your time,
half your space, if you need it,
then come
and
back.
then bring your butt back home and let's continue.
Yeah. Okay. So Easton, what do you think?
I don't necessarily agree with prenups, being that I work in the club industry and I see how some of these females act. I can understand why people get prenups because, and it happens with guys too.
Okay, I'm waiting for that.
I have a quick story. I have a friend.
Mary J. Blige.
I have a friend that me and her used to talk back in the day, but we're good friends now. And she's a police officer too, and the cops make good money. I used to joke to her, I'd be like, listen, if you break my heart, I need spousal support.
I hate that word, bro.
I go, I have a certain lifestyle of living that I keep up with that.
So Wendy Williams' husband.
So I can understand why some people would get one. I wouldn't personally.
Yeah.
Because listen, if we go down, we're both getting nothing. So
I do think that, you know, definitely in today's day and times with, you know, just how many divorces there are, seeing, you know, women do certain things for capital gain and seeing men do things for capital gain could make anyone a little bit apprehensive, right? Yeah. But I think that we also need to practice, like, really getting to know the person we're with, having some level of trust as hard as it may be, and also perhaps, you know, also not being a idiot.
Don't be a idiot.
Right? So, thank you so much for all of you guys coming in today. I really appreciate all the different perspectives and stories, and I hope that all of you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in to Dani Changg.
We are out.
Yeah.
Never thought I could be so unselfish, 'cause I gave you everything. Gave you all that I had, now you want someone else.
Back to what we were saying. Thanks for joining us again. So we were talking about what we were supposed to.
I know, I'm gonna edit that out.